Hello and welcome back to the series, everyone. This is Minecraft Roguelike Adventures and Dungeons 2, and as you may have seen from the title, it will be the last that I'm showing, but I wanted to bring this to a close before I start something new. So what happened for the times that I didn't upload? Well, I did tell you guys that I wanted to maybe change my style and upload more frequently. And that clearly didn't happen. First of all, that style change I didn't really like. Second of all, I moved, and then my motherboard died, so I lost the world. But I still had the video files, and then one of my hard drives died, so part of the files got corrupted. So this started off well. Luckily, the ones that were corrupted were the first few parts, and I managed to recover at least a little bit. The sound is totally out, and as you can see, this part is also not doing well. But yeah, for this one, I'm essentially starting on day 11 after we came back home, and I'm trying to rebuild my home a little bit. So I'm changing out some of the walls and just working on that. And after that, I fought a name guy, which is like a harder like mini boss in the overworld, which gave me a nice rope and a little achievement. Then I spent a while just leveling up everything I can inside of this like quest menu that you have. And then I decided it is time to get materials for the house and hand out. So that is what I did, and I passed by a lot of different things. Up until a point where I am now, in a desert. So I actually went home at this point, dropped off my stuff, but essentially I found like a little underground villager, like hub thing, got some food there, and I just went through the world getting all this loot from these little temple things that you find around, and I just took everything I could. It wasn't that much, but it was a little bit of ore stuff and all that. And I tried so far to avoid the desert because of all of the monsters and stuff that are there, like the worms and stuff. You really don't want to get too close to them, because I still have stone weapons. And I want to manage to get to iron, hopefully. But yeah, I passed by some desert pyramids. I found some houses of these guys that have sometimes portals in their houses, but they also sell like keys and stuff for the portals, so you have to, I guess, find multiple to find a portal. One of the guys' houses was actually cut off by a giant library, and this library was special because it has witches in there. And I decided I need to upgrade my combat, so I just spent a long few days in there. And then I set out again from the other village and just went a little bit the other direction. And I went like over the seas, found a shipwreck, found a map, actually got the treasure because it was very decently close by, and made my way over to these Red Rock Mountains, and crossing them brought me to very frosty biomes, which was a nice change of pace because by this time I crossed a ton of dungeons and deserts, and I also passed by this boss chamber thing that you need a key for. Definitely not tackling that, but at least the witches and some other small fights gave me my iron sword, and I actually found an enchanter one. It's not that strong, but I'm going to use this for as long as I have. I did fight my way into one of these pillager towers. It took me a little while, but it was fine. I also should mention that I did tackle the pyramid next to my house, like right next to it in the desert that you've seen in the first part, and I did die a few times, but in the end I managed to get some decent loot and equipment. Also here I decided to not venture into this village because there's a lot of baddies here, and I just looted like that one chest and then moved on. These kind of things are very dangerous, so I just basically ignored them. My main goal here was the materials, so in the parts that essentially corrupted, I did find a little bit of trees and stuff, and I also went into a dungeon for a little while, which brought me some more, like, especially gear and some decoration. And I did actually find a secret hidey hole there that had a enchanting table, which I definitely took. Plus, of course, some more loot and some more diff. But yeah, I did want to work on the house, so I decided to set out again after that. And I just like went into the easier dungeons and I found seals, which are so adorable. The previous thing where I looted Brimstone, I actually had pillagers there, super easy to fight. I just poured down the water a little bit more and then just had them swim away and shot them. And then I ended up at this ice pyramid. This is essentially a labyrinth pyramid, a little bit akin to desert pyramids, just with a ton of strays. And the annoying part here is, first of all, the arrows sometimes go through my shield. And second of all, the ice is slippery and you have to climb in certain sections. So it was a lot of back and forth with my shield, healing, trying to get the spawners. And there's a decent bit in there. I think there's at least 4 or 5 in there. I can't remember, but yeah, the loot was okay. It wasn't bad. I guess very decent for like how far I've gotten in the game, since I'm still on trying to get iron equipment fully and then maybe, you know, work on diamond after, which is gonna take a while. But at least with iron I can fight a little bit more consistently and in close combat, and I don't have to sneak around a lot of places just to get by. I did find some artwood trees in varying colors, and I'm definitely taking those because I do want to do some of the magic stuff in this mod, or did want to, I should mention. Plus, it's just a nice wood for decoration and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I took everything of that I could. And let me tell you guys, there's a lot of beautiful, very many different colored trees. So I picked all of them up that I could. I picked up reddish trees, orangish trees, greenish trees. And I always checked a little bit how the plants and stuff look from a house build. By the end of this journey, I actually was very content with what I found. At night, I mainly crashed in random strangers' houses. Like this guy, this armor guy. I just, you know, lent his bed and rested for the night before moving on. Again, finding more trees, and I have to say, I love these colorful items and stuff. I don't remember half of them being in Roguelike Adventures and Dungeons 1. I think they are decently in RAD 2. And they're just gorgeous. Like, some of them I've seen before, some of them feel very new. So all the materials really make this game, like, much better, because you can be so much more creative. Which is one of the reasons why I love modded Minecraft. Like, look at this, we even have these interesting green trees. They don't quite look like bamboo, a little bit darker, more muted green, but I really like the variation. And again, crashing in a random guy's home. These are just the guys for hire that you can give some items and they will follow you on your adventures. And then I'm moving on. I'm always trying to find villages and stuff to loot for food, first of all, because I'm constantly short of that since I'm not doing any farming on anything as of yet. And second of all, for warp stones, because if anything stupid happens, like I run into a dragon or something, then, you know, I want to be safe. I did spot one empty dragon's nest at one point at the map, but I didn't want to risk it, so I didn't get close in case the dragon was nearby. And that was actually in one of the parts that got corrupted. But so far, it is very void of dragons where I went. Which is surprising, considering that usually in RAD 1, I ran into them like every few meters, and I had to essentially run from them the entire time and try to survive. But this one, not that much. But yeah, I went through a lot of different woodlands and plains, and then I've also found one of these towers. Definitely seen more of them in the first version. I guess I've just missed a lot of them, or was very unlucky in my pathing. But these, I think, are inspired by Breath of the Wild, if I remember correctly, or I guess correctly. and they have the most annoying way to climb them with these spiral staircases that are broken up by ladders that you have to go up, but they do have a little waystone up there, so that was worth grabbing. And then I moved on, grabbing more trees. I always make sure to bring mostly the saplings with me and like throw the tree bark away once I actually tested which kind of planks and stuff they made. So yeah, just to minimize the stuff that I have in my inventory. Then I found these really beautiful plains against a steep mountain. And this was a nice place, I guess, to make my way home after looting. So I just went around the village and grabbed again some food, some other loot. And then I decided, okay, it is finally time to work on my house. So I did plant all the trees, and while they were growing, I sadly forgot to record. And I built out a little cellar and a like side section that I did fill with like bookshelves and all the enchantment stuff, and with the enchantment table that I found in another dungeon. And then it was time to sort all my clutter. I had all these chests upstairs, and I put everything into barrels, sorted it by item type and all that kind of stuff. Tried my best to get enough leather from my journeys to actually put in some of these item frames. Definitely didn't have enough. I thought I had more, but sadly not. But yeah, this was a very fun project. I also wanted to make this cellar like a little bit colorful, so I decided to just use a lot of the mesa biome stuff. And I think it turned out really nice and bright. But yeah, all of this was literally just sorting, and then I decided I'm going to head out a little bit more. Grabbing a couple more materials that I need, just to finish the house and the roof and all that stuff. And it landed me in some really pretty biomes, and I actually found a little pillager camp. And these ones can have pretty decent loot, but more importantly, they can level up my combat and all that, so I can finally move on and get everything decked out with iron and maybe even, again, progress towards diamond. Because ultimately that is at the point what I need the most to, you know, finally fulfill my goal of getting into the nether with some decent gear, because the nether in this game, I think I mentioned it in the first part, is very tricky. You have to find a portal underground in the random mines, and then you can only use it once, and you have to find a portal in the nether to get back. So I wanted to be absolutely decked out. I did find another witch's library, decided to not fight it though. I just wanted to get back home after my little looting spree. And essentially I was just grabbing some more of the woods that I've already gotten, and I realized that I forgot 1 or 2 saplings. So I grabbed those, and then, you know, sorted the rest of all my stuff, with my goal being to finally being able to break the chest upstairs. And to make everything look a little bit more neat. By the end of day I guess 39, 40, I wanted to actually have a roof and a decent tiny house. My plan was to expand it on all sides for whatever I need, being it like a little magical laboratory to one side or something, or like maybe an artifact collection tower or something. At this point I didn't really know, I just knew that it would be a very colorful cluster of house, which sadly I never got to. But yeah, then came the upper part. I did not want to make a second story, per se. I just wanted to add like a tiny roof for decoration. I did need more terracotta, so I spent a decent chunk of my time just mining varying colors. And I also wanted to make the house a little bit more bright, so I decided to go with a light color for the floor, a light color for the ceiling, and then some accents for my enchanting area. And for this one I'm just using glazed terracotta, and I think it turned out really cute. I'm also utilizing these tiny bookshelves. I've always loved that we have them in modded Minecraft, and it made me so happy that we finally got them in normal Minecraft at some point. Or in vanilla, I should say. And, you know, they're just so nice to look at, and just having functioning bookshelves, it's so much fun. But yeah, for the roof, I decided to go with this muted cherry blossom color and just do like a flat-ish roof. So I went back and forth, just doing the roof, just doing the like ceiling part. I did switch it up a little bit for the like outside and added some accents, and here we have the roof part. And then I went and tried to decorate this gap a little bit more, but I didn't really manage to finish it, and it didn't turn out how I wanted it to. So I worked into the night and then realized, oh, it's already 9 of day 40, so I have to stop this to, you know, start the next part soon. And with that, that was literally the last of the world that you're ever gonna see. I was really bummed about this, honestly, because I liked this world and what I achieved so far and all the play hours that I put in, and I would have loved to continue it, but, you know, it's just gone. But at least I have part of the, like, video footage still to show you guys. But with that, I also decided to end an era, so to speak. I noticed I don't play that much Minecraft anymore. I do play occasionally, casually, mainly in, like, multiplayer worlds and stuff. But, like, not as much that it warrants to keep this Minecraft channel up. So I'm going to change this. I've been playing a lot of different games on stream, and I have a lot of VODs that I've accumulated over the years. And so I decided, why not make videos of them? It's gonna take quite a bit because some of them have many hours of footage. And, you know, it would already taken me super long to edit Minecraft videos with games and doing a complete, like, resume of them and maybe a little review or something. It's gonna be much, much more time consuming, but I'd love to have, like, some like shorter videos that will give me a little memory of the games that I've played so far and just show you guys a shorter form, because yes, my VODs are all on a YouTube channel, but I think that not all people want to watch full-length VODs, so yeah, that's what this channel is gonna become. It's again gonna take me a while between them to upload them and all that kind of stuff, but hopefully soonish I will be able to start on that. And until then, I hope you enjoyed the series, and again, I'm sorry that I had to cut it short, but with all that happened, I couldn't change that. And I hope you all will have a great day. See you for the next video, whatever that will be. Have a great time. Bye bye!